Thank you so much, guys and gals, for coming in. Hey, deuces, Maffo, thank you. Come on, Bruce, give me the goods. We got a lot of good stuff coming up, a lot of good information. And of course, the space race, the space wars, everything that's happening right now, I'm understanding they're coming up with. Thank you very much, deuces. Appreciate that. Just found the channel a week ago. Shit's intense. And I appreciate that. Man, there should be like loads of people thinking the way you're thinking. But here you'll notice we have an incredible community. Don't get me wrong. It's amazing. It's family, the online family. But as for newcomers, we don't get them that often. Deuces, Mofo, thank you very much for coming in. At the same time, everyone, welcome the new subscribers, the new people arriving to the channel. Thanks so much, Matt, for checking out the stuff. It's a shame this man's info needs to be spread. I love the energy and I appreciate it. So just the fact that you come back, and I'm sure once in a while you'll be, talking to someone. Well, do you know this person? You know this person? I love you for it, guys. Really helps. Elias, how's it going? Nice to see you all. Thanks for being a member, of course, each and every one of you. Divine Sorcerer, thanks a lot, man, for welcoming everyone. And of course, thanks for the generous everything, man, and everyone of you here contributing both your time, your comments, and some of your finances. I mean, I'm very lucky, even though it's a small knit channel, that we've had a lot of support. It's actually surprising that a small channel actually gets that much support. And well, what is a small channel and what's a big channel? We see subscribers, 250,000 subscribers, 250,000 subscribers. Some channels don't have any activity. So subscribers is not necessarily a way that I decide on whether a channel is good or not, because there's some channels that have 50,000 subscribers and they're getting millions of views on their videos. So it has to do with everything. The interest has to do with the algorithm, and it has to do with what they're hiding, of course. So a lot of the trolls hated that when I said that. Good morning. Thanks, you guys. Hey, Nick, Margaret, Nicole asks, thanks, you guys. The trolls will say, well, Bruce likes to valorize himself as being higher or better than anyone else. Not. Bruce is a lucky guy, an amateur. Like everyone who I know started here on YouTube, just so happens to be very lucky that I'm either in a corridor of some type of UFOs, for sure, to be able to see some of these things. And it's just something that's absolutely incredible. Miss Julie is in the house. The stats. How's it going? How's Floyd going? How's the bacon hanging? I'm sorry. What a thing to say. Newcomers will understand the bacon joke in a couple of days. Thanks very much, the stats. Thank you, everyone, for being here. She says, Bruce is all on our Moon Man. Happy Friday. Hit the thumbs up on your way in, please. Hey, Moon Man, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I love you guys so much. Good afternoon to you too, Leah. Do you like my little space skit? Was having some fun. You got to have some fun with this, I guess, at the same time, because it's very, I won't go as far as saying depressing work, but the things that are coming out right now, anyone that's in ufology right now or interested in UFOs or even just the sky, the information that's coming out, you must agree with me, is absolutely incredible. It's phenomenal. And it's a lot more than what we've been seeing all of my life. Actually, in my 47 years, I haven't been looking at space for 47 years, that's for sure. Started the 7th year of research. It's been a long time I've been interested in space, but not doing any research, right? Didn't think things were that secretive. Never would have thought there were that many secret projects going on. Aside from that, there's so much to cover. We'll probably touch a lot of it in this stream. And then, of course, I'm going to go do some more researching. Those just arriving, I go and look at the space news that happens during the month. So every week, after a week's time, there's a lot of new information that accumulates on a whole bunch of forums and universities and NASA and military, Pentagon, Space Force, UAP Task Force now. They're talking about a whole lot of new things that are going to occur in space. For me, it's the most exciting time ever to be alive. They're talking about space platforms to drop off cargo. That's coming in 2024. So we really are going to be in the future in 2025 when it comes to the ideal of being able to witness spaceships leaving Earth. We actually will. You might just not be too impressed when it's, Virgin Galactic spacecraft going up. They're like, oh, I want to see aliens and stuff. We are aliens to the people that are outside of this galaxy and in the solar system even. Each planet, the ones that could possibly have any life there. And there is life. We know that even on Mars and even living vegetation. But we're talking about the difference between a moss and a tree, or we're talking about a river or water that's just in regolith on the moon. Recently, they talked about new findings on the moon, new minerals and materials that were detected on the surface in areas where they said there was regolith. And not just regolith, there's the green material, right? Olivine. Over the years, they came up with all these different minerals that are on the moon, but including keeping in mind that they lost the way to get to the moon. Now they're studying the atmosphere around the moon. Is it because it's the first time that they're really ever doing these things, or is it because the ones that would have been related to working on the moon or around the moon were really elite rulers that were doing secret projects, and that it was asides from the government? Lots of top secret clearance levels, right, over the government. We got many people that talked about that. We have even Bob Lazar talked about that, like 20, 30 different levels that go up over the president. And whether it be true or not, president said, well, Obama at that time, he doesn't have access to Area 51. So that's when you start understanding all the different branches. Regis, thank you so much, man. Thanks a lot, bro. I love you, man. Thanks for being here. Regis, a long-time subscriber and supporter of the channel too. Thanks for the generous contributions, man. He's the one that got it all started with John Davis and a couple of people that decided, Bruce, your work's pretty good. Try to get yourself a bigger scope. You'll get some support and help. And then it just never ended from there, even though we are a small channel that not a lot of people get to this channel, but the ones that do, boy, I tell you guys, I love you for it so much. Mr. Mr. Regis Weishweg, nice to see you, bro. Thank you very much, and I hope you're doing well. And thanks for everything, man. Carlene, how's it going? Hello, Carlene. Nice to see some new people coming to the channel, saying hello. And Carlene also streams, has some interesting subjects. Carlene, I met on Super Dave 44 and 45 channel. Some good people that come by the channel. I don't always have time, Carlene, and everyone to go see channels. I do this full time. I'm packing in as much as I can of the research. When I'm not posting, I'm doing the research and studying online, but I'm trying to film outside. I'm now venturing into the area where we saw the UFOs landing on the surface. Or now listen, they didn't land on the surface with 4 sticks and landed and then set off from the surface. I saw them below the tree line, too low, where we have the confirmation 100,000% that it's not planes, that it's not satellites. And 7th year of research starting now, it's only the first time that I can say that I'm showing lights that were that close to the surface, except for that one time that UFO came down to see me at the house 15 feet from me. It's going to take probably many more years maybe to see it again, or it's something that can happen several times now because I saw it once. It could be a beginning of a sign of more activity to come. We never know. I do notice one thing, guys, the UFOs that I am seeing in the sky, in theory, the concept is that it has a lot to do with what's going on here on Earth. When there's wars, when there's like including the pandemic, I was up to 4 months, 3.5 to 4 months. I didn't see any UFOs in the sky. And it's funny, that's when they had said that they grounded the planes, when in reality, they had not grounded the planes. You could see on Flight Radar 24 and other websites that show the activity of the planes all around the world. It was more active. We saw people still leaving to go to the Bahamas from the States. We saw people from China going to the States. We saw, I was looking at the planes where they were going to and from. It's incredible. It's like half of the world believed a certain thing and the other half just continued living on. Me, I went through the pandemic. I heard of the births, deaths. It has nothing to do with me. I just kept doing my little thing. Put on a mask to go into a store because people were complaining. But aside from that, I didn't change anything. That's how it is. Things are happening faster. Hey, Christopher Rollins, thanks, man. Patagonia, Pampa, how's it going? Thanks again, Regis. things are getting ahead really fast in space, and I'm having a hard time following everything that's going on. DARPA's Ouija program, Ouija project. I jumped on that because a lot of people enjoy hearing everything. We're talking about advanced technology, right? They're the ones that are in charge of taking care of everything that the U.S. has sent out into space, and they're the ones that are the advancement of the branches of defense department, right? You got FBI, you got the CIA, and you got DARPA, and a whole slew of many other associations, probably frontal associations. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself without having any proof. I'm just talking basically, we all know that they're pretty good at hiding the things that they want to do in space. And it really does make sense. A lot of people say, Bruce, don't believe what they're saying, but obviously they are hiding from Russia and China when they're talking about things that are being seen in the sky. It's always going to be very, very hush hush, thanks to the Freedom of Information Act in the United States of America and USA. We have the blackvault.com. Greenwald, a hell of a good thing that he's trying to declassify some things that are classified even on YouTube in government channels where they have unlisted or private videos. There's a way for the public to be able to see or to have these exposed and declassified, but it takes sometimes a bit more than a year and a half to 2 years. But people say, don't go to the Black Vault, it's CIA, or don't do this or it's that. Yeah, I get it. You know, we don't know who's running these sites. I absolutely get it. But I still go to all those sites. I even ponder on DARPA's website to find out some of the technological advances I think that they're doing. Like these people, you know, designing robots and stuff in association with doctors that study brains and human behavior. This is like, guys, we're living a science fiction novel. Literally, there's not one science fiction film about anything like Frankenstein or anything that is actually even close, one hairline close to what's going on now. I mean, there's a lot more going on now than we've ever seen, I think, in any movie. Even though a lot of you tell me movies, Bruce, really do talk about certain truths, and sometimes it's a warning. A lot of people believe that without getting paranoid, that movies, in reality, it's a little sign of what's to come in the future. And sometimes movies, poetry, art is the only way that some people can express certain private things that we're not allowed talking about. And it's funny, Leonardo da Vinci did that back in the day too. They're finding it just now that there's encoding inside of these paintings that were done hundreds of years ago by these people that should not have known anything about computers, right? The oldest computer they found was from ancient Greece, many thousands of years ago, a real computer, and it was filled with gears, right? Maybe a little different, didn't have any Wi-Fi plugs on it. I think, is it safe to say that what the ancient civilizations have created were built to last? You know, the gears and stuff, and some mechanisms inside tombs still function and work, and they were rigged, I don't know how many thousands of years ago. So they say, we don't know. I mean, none of us here can prove that there were people on Earth longer than 150 years ago. We can't prove it. There's no way of proving it. You could be as interested as you want into the ancient civilizations, information coming out from the ancient scribes. Now, this is all translation that's done by other cultures that we don't even know about, that's saying, oh, yes, God said this. It's absolutely, that's what he said. Then they change the Bibles. And you go, it's the word of God? Which version? Should that exist? Like, hey, where's the word of God? Oh, a Bible is the word of God. Okay, which one? What do you mean? There's different versions of the Bible. That's a little odd when you think of it. Darla, thank you very much for coming in and supporting the channel, for always being here, and mods and everyone. Thank you. If you guys remember the base that I showed, or what looks like structures or mechanical devices or construction on the moon in Sinus Iridum, which I called the base, I put it on that link there, the Pictorem gallery of pictures. You can see some pictures of space. It's a very small website, but maybe you want to have a poster on your wall. It's free to view. You can go and take a look at it. You don't have to buy anything to go and see the site. Richard Crooks, good evening all from the UK. Thank you very much. Lots of stuff going on around the world too. New Zealand, you're seeing more and more dictatorship-like theme coming from all these people that are ruling New Zealand. Look at Trudeau, the States, all because of the World Economic Forum. There's some new things that we're not allowed talking about, like elections and stuff. Literally in your studio, it's written on top, like, don't talk about that certain elect in that certain country. So it's like 1984 all over again. It really is real. The suppression, the freedom of speech. Even though a lot of you don't trust Elon, I'm still hoping for the best. I'm hoping that he really is an elite black sheep trying to cut away from the other herd. Hopefully, we can only take what they give us. Greetings from Germany. Thank you very much. And 9.1-7. Thanks, you guys. Pink dudes in the house. Waiting on the day where I'll be visited again by UFOs. Well, that's how it is, man. Like, same for me. I saw that a couple of years ago, and then I saw just recently the UFOs a bit further, like descending. For me, it's emotional, it's spiritual, and it's something that changed my life a long time ago. Having a spiritual encounter. I was very, very young. Before I even had any facial hair, I was seeing some type of phenomena, being or something on the other side. That's, most people, all we do is we fight about it. We fight about it being demons or aliens or evil entities and stuff. Don't forget that really is just a theory that we came up with, right? As much as my theory about them not being evil is also a theory. It's just theories. We're assuming. That's how science was developed. People sitting in a room, probably having a couple of beers, sitting down saying, well, what if this is that? What if that is this? Getting some tools. I mean, how many times do they do this and have to redo this? If there's a cataclysmic event on Earth where we all pass on, well, the elites will come back, do another Adam and Eve, and a few changes in the Bible, and we're ready to go. Leave all the things that are in the caves to find. That's how I look at it. That's what I believe the Matrix is. It's not that it's all optical illusions and that it's all holographic images. It's that the illusion that's around us is a physical illusion, and they changed our perception as to what everything physical around us is. It's not down, it's up. Maybe it's down, but we told you it was up, where we all know it's up. So when somebody says that's actually up and that's actually down, they're automatically going to be refuted by any scientific association. People are going to disagree with them. So somebody that's open-minded is a big danger for the elites, more than we all think. The biggest danger to the elites are people that have open minds, I think. Nope, same time as usual, brother. Oh, did we change times? Didn't even notice it. See, that's the thing, guys. Here, you do have to check the times, and I should have mentioned it, but of course I didn't know because the government rules my life. They change the times, right? Fall, we fall behind, and spring, we spring ahead. So I didn't know about that. I'm assuming that we change the time. I never know when we do. Canada has to agree entirely, all the provinces, to stop doing so. These changes came about during the war for daylight savings time and all that, so that they have more time, in the war, and that the times would been with. It's stupid. But if you're here, I'm here at 1:00 Eastern. Now, if you go and look at the time change with your country, it's going to be an hour difference. 1 hour fallen behind. So I'm sorry about that. I would explain maybe why there'll be less or maybe more people here, but it really is 1:00, and we change the time twice a year. We go ahead and we go back, and it really is screwing up people coming here from other countries, because not everyone is doing the time changes. Most of us are, but the time changes are at different times. I get caught all the time myself when I go to other countries too. And Taki Samotaki, hello. Thanks a lot for being here. Mr. Peter Benton, thank you so much. Hey, thanks, bro. Yes, this happened last year. Should remembered. Yeah. No, because it's up to me that I should have mentioned. I'm really sorry about that. So I guess you see me an hour later, I guess. So it's like Bruce is no, earlier. Okay, I'm earlier. See how it screws me up? I mean, that would explain why, I don't know, it's 1:20. I don't really feel like it's 1:20. That would explain probably the time change. Thanks again, Peter. Lay in the house. Deuces, I'm getting nervous. I feel the disclosure, says Deuces, mofo. And thanks again, guys, for connecting. I feel like disclosure is coming. I do feel it. And a lot of the people in the community here have mentioned it to me. Yes, Bruce, something is really coming. You can feel it in the air. I can feel it in the air, that's for sure. Carlene, thank you so much. How sweet of you. Great information, Bruce. Thanks so much, Carlene. I appreciate that. You guys can go head over and give her a little thumbs up on her side. And thanks for the encouragement, Carlene. I appreciate that. Thanks for the interest. Of course. Margaret says China. Yeah, it's part of what I was going to say too. The March 5B rocket could fall to Earth in 16 hours. Absolutely. And they're changing the time frame. They're changing the airspace and locking down the airspace over many countries, from Spain to Lisbon to a whole bunch of other areas that they're doing that. I'll get into that really quickly too. Thanks, Margaret. Margaret's always pretty up to date, very up to date too. Follows the news for sure, but the right news, you're following the right news. You're not listening to that other news like CNN, MSNBC. They're all gone. Don Lemon's gone. Schmelter, Welter, whatever his name was, is gone. They were all part of the agenda, part of the plan. Sneaky Beaver, Sneaky Old Beaver, thank you very much. Could they be coming from Antarctica? Absolutely. And I see a lot going towards the north. That could absolutely be too. I mean, it's pretty obvious, right? Sneaky Old Beaver, that they could be hiding there in a very easy way. And then what bothers me most is that the governments should have eyes in the sky there. So you have to wonder, are they part of hiding what's going on because it's them? Or is it because they're working with aliens and protecting it? Or is it really because they just don't want to talk to China and Russia? It fascinates me, the things that they're doing. A lot of people are saying they're going to push. Yes, bacon is hanging high. Moonman, how's yours? It's hanging low right now. It's squeezed, actually. A little squeezed right now. I just sort of referred bacon to sexual parts now. I assumed that that's what we meant, but no. Like I said, people just arriving will understand the bacon jokes in a couple of days. We have a lot of fun here, as always. Deuces, mofo, and a whole bunch of new people coming in. That is always greatly appreciated. Driving right now back in 15 minutes. Yes, sir, Elias. I loved your video today, by the way. It sucks that it's getting cold out. I enjoy watching the stars at night. Try to do it as often as I can. Right on, Pink Dude. I'm very lucky here right now, guys. It's 76 degrees. All my windows are open. I've not heated yet. Short sleeves, outside in a shirt. As a matter of fact, I have a couple flowers still under my deck. The grass is still green, and it's actually getting long. And if it doesn't get cold in a week, I'm going to have to cut the grass in a week. That will be my first time ever cutting the grass in November. As a matter of fact, it's my first time cutting the grass in October. I usually leave it a bit longer, but this year it just kept on going. For sure, major changes. Thanks again so much, Mr. Weishweg, and everyone for the generous contributions, you guys. Really appreciate it. Be nice if you can check out my video I uploaded here. I'd like to hear your opinion on the structure I have found on the Mars surface, JPL pics. Listen, I will easily do that. Please, this is not a scam. Leave a comment on this stream after so I can go to your channel. Others can also do so. The problem is that when I click on your three dots, I'm with StreamYard and it says you can block the person. I don't have access to going to your channels unless I'm on Super Dave's stream or someone else's stream. I can do so, but I can't do so here. So please leave a comment in the comment section of this stream once it's done so that I will be able to click on your channel. I don't know about you guys. If I write in M9.1/7 on YouTube, it will not bring me to any of the channels. I will go to M9, maybe they'll talk about an asteroid or they'll go somewhere else. And often the channels are hidden. Some people I can go directly to, but it's very, very rare. Elias, thanks again, you guys, for the generous everything, for being here. Hoser, or Hoser, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Good evening from a very wet and windy Apton West Highlands in Scotland. Thank you very much, my friends in Scotland. I appreciate that. Rain in Scotland, eh? Who would have thought? And that could even be a rumor. People have a tendency of believing stereotypes and stereotypical comments. And, does it rain in Scotland? I assume it is foggy often in Scotland. But here, Quebec is the second Scotland because it's always foggy and rainy now, especially since the past few years. It's really changed. Diane, thanks a lot. You guys, I love you so much, you guys, for helping the channel grow. I'm by myself in all the excitement and without passing off for someone that's venting or trying to brag. I'm so honored to have that many subscribers, even though we should be well over 200,000 subscribers, especially how it's been stopped over the years. But if everything goes well, in a bit less than 6 months, we're approaching the 100,000 subscriber mark. It's just something that will, maybe entice more people to come see the videos. A lot of people base their ideals on a good channel based on how many subscribers there are, sometimes how many views there are. If you go on someone's video and he has 115 views, probably not many people are going to want to look at it, but sometimes it could be the most incredible video. I think most of the real videos are being held back on YouTube. Dwayne White, we'll be getting into that. Margaret, about the launches also. Dwayne, thanks, man. Good vibes to you too. Hey, friends, thanks. Lisa B is in the house, and I was supposed to sing you happy birthday for your birthday on October 30th with the guitar. I was going to make it bluesy, and I didn't. I'm a bad guy. But happy birthday late, October 30th, 2022. 28 years old, beautiful individual, just absolutely incredible. Be approaching 30 years of your life. I wish I was 30 years old again. Honestly, if you're all like me, you probably pretty much feel the same way you felt from 20, 21, 19. Never changed. Mentally, I'm still jumping fences, even though I might not be able to physically do it. I can go through fences. How come? Ghost behind me. There's several ghosts behind me, and often very controversial videos when it comes to paranormal videos. I hope you all saw the video where there's activity in the house, movement, which is rare. Some people said, why aren't you making more paranormal videos? Because I'm not making them. I'm filming what's moving in the house, and I hope to God that I don't come to the point where I'm making videos every day. What does Ouija stand for? Have any of you done a little bit of research once in a while, or maybe through curiosity to find out, and not curiosity rover, but curiosity of your mind to find out what's going on with how that word came to be? Well, apparently it's somebody that learnt it from the board, that was told that it's in ancient Egyptian times, it was a word that signified, it stood for good luck. So a lot of people think that Ouija stands for the oracle, or stands for Satan, but it doesn't. If you look at it the way you want, oui and ja is yes. Ja is yes in Spanish. Oui is yes in French. Yes on the board is in English. So we could have maybe just a Ouija. I would have assumed that was just something like that. But apparently it's a word that stands for good luck. So even better. Thanks again, Lisa B. Darla, thank you for welcoming everyone. And geez, Darla, Darla welcomes always all the channels, thanks them, shares links to the channel sometimes and stuff. So, Darla's working like a dog. Take a break once in a while. Listen to what I'm saying. Darla's like, what the hell is he talking about? I'm too busy doing a whole bunch of stuff. Anika, child of Thoth, thank you very much for coming in. Hello to you. Thanks for becoming a member also recently, you guys. Really appreciate it. And I just can't thank you all enough for the amazing support that you're giving the channel and the interest. We're living in the most amazing times. Everything. I looked in the news for about 5 minutes, and there's a whole slew of stuff going on. DARPA, I'm always watching what they're doing because they're doing a whole bunch of stuff. Of course, some experiments coming from DARPA now. They'll be in the lower Earth orbit. So that's LEO, lower Earth orbit, actually doing some experimentation in the ionosphere. No biggie. What the hell are they doing there? Also doing some studies on high radio frequencies, right? HRF. HRF, we're talking about from 10 to 100 meter bandwidth. and from 3 to 30 megahertz. As for frequency, high frequency radio, high radio frequencies is used in a whole bunch of things. It's used also for skin, for the back, people that are paralyzed, and it's just a whole means of different things that they can do with that. The frequencies. I'm always afraid of the frequencies. The frequencies are something that's dangerous. I believe possibly some frequencies can be dangerous, even if there's too many frequencies. We have cell phones. You laugh all you want. Women put their cell phones between their breasts. I would suggest that you don't. Very handy to hold. I understand. It's where we hold our beer bottles when we're camping, between our legs. But it's maybe not necessary. A beer bottle's not as dangerous unless you break the bottle. But if you get what I'm getting at, like guys and all of us, I don't have a cell phone, put their phones in a front or back pocket, which is close to the prostate, and whether it be the cause of cancer or not, I wouldn't take any chance of having those devices really close to me. Like saying I would hold my microwave in a backpack while it's plugged and working. I wouldn't necessarily do that. Dana, how's it going? Why would the president get access to 51? Well, apparently it has nothing to do with the government. It's someone that's on the land of the United States that has access to doing secret and private experimentation, even gathering funds, and the government doesn't have a say on it whatsoever. Yet there is a connection between both of them, and they talk to each other, even though it's on rare occasions that we do hear about. But you have to wonder why there would be top secret clearances for something that's way over the president. Well, that's probably what Kennedy was trying to get his hands onto, to bring out to the public, so that the public would know a bit more about what was going on. And maybe, in theory, that had a little bit to do with the reason why he was assassinated, possibly. Thanks, Darla. Thanks, everyone. Masterwork series by Kate the Artist. Thank you very much for being here. So happy to hear, Bruce, and grateful to be here. I am grateful and honored to have you taking the time to leave a comment and to come to the live stream is really incredible. I've never forced anyone to subscribe to the channel to come to the streams. I keep mentioning it's my third stream now, or fourth stream, or 10th or 20th stream that I keep saying, please subscribe. At one point, it'll be only the subscribers that will come to the stream. Not because I want to block people from coming, because I'm trying to grow the channel a bit more. And Star Hunter, how's it going, my friend? Thank you very much for being here. Yeah, I have some tests to do. Thanks, Star Hunter, for all the support here and there on various platforms and on Patreon. I'm going to do some tests. I want to know if people can actually send some voice messages on Patreon, because there's a couple of people that have that want to communicate with me through the voice message, which is easier for them, depending on, for whatever the reason, not using a keyboard or not. So I think they can. I just don't really know. I'm going to have to do some tests to find out if they can. If not, I'd love to find a website or easy app or something for the people that actually can't type. I have a couple of people that come to the channel that prefer not typing, whether they have problems with their hands or whatever, muscular. I'd like to be able to find a way of communicating maybe a bit more. I really have to thank you all for taking the time to have gone to Patreon and or to the members, because I've never made it past 100 members. I hope you all know that. I've been here for a couple of years trying to grow the website, not trying to, what I assumed is that the website, and the channel here would have gotten so many people on the member side that we would have gone private, and we would have, instead of, not that I want to block out again the channel to others, but surprisingly did not get much support keeping this channel up for free. Probably if I would have made it a paid website, which I can do here, put it private, absolutely private, which I couldn't think of doing, because there's so many people that don't have access, whether it be $1, $2, or $4. Not everybody has that every month, and it's understandable. I would have had two sides like I have now, but the goal is to grow the channel a bit bigger. I try to make some silly songs and some music. I have a channel, music channel, if you guys want to hear me singing things like from I Want to Get Away all the way to the Bee Gees to the Beatles, to even some lady singers that I changed the songs into a guy singing. Take the time to check it out. It's just a silly music channel, but a whole bunch of instruments that I'm playing there, including some badass blues harmonica. For the first time, I put up my first solo. Nobody believes me. No way in hell that's his first solo. It really was. Some people are just lucky in life, I guess, and partly lucky. Not completely lucky, but partly lucky. Anika, thank you so much. I love you for it. Appreciate that. Bruce says all is magical. I love you for it. And thanks for seeing the magical side in me, because there really is magic inside of each and every one of us. That's how we were all created, through a little touch of magic too. I'm pretty sure. Thank you very much, Anika Thoth. Thanks, guys. Incredible. Love you all for it. And again, thanks for becoming a member. Excuse me. David White. How's it going, brother? Thanks again, man. Being here, being there. I have a lot of thanking to do when people come here, because everyone's so supportive, and I really appreciate it. Even though there's not many views. So you guys understand that are just arriving. Everyone that's here right now is keeping the channel up. And all the views that are here coming from elsewhere, it's because thanks to all of you for sharing the word out about my channel. Bouche à oreille, we say in French. Just speaking about it sometimes can attract more people to coming by. Alex Jones blocked me, and I'm sure he didn't do it on purpose, because I've never been to comment on this channel. I'm used to watching Alex Jones Infowars. I watch band videos also. I have no access through DuckDuckGo, through Google, through anything other search engine to be able to have access to seeing a video of Alex Jones. It's inexistent. He's inexistent, brushed from the internet. And I got a 1020 error code saying that I went through a firewall, through the protection of the Cloudflare that was on his website, through a backdoor, illegal access. I'm blown away, guys. Scared at the same time that the security for a big website like Alex Jones, which he's paying for Cloudflare to secure the firewall or whatnot, they just told him, Alex Jones, and got a message from me that I was trying to enter the website. So how do you think that will be in the future if ever Alex Jones and I, hoping that we'd have a meeting day one day to talk about one sighting on the moon? I always said it will happen. That's not going to look it doesn't look very good. I'm not a hacker, one. I don't access websites. I don't have to. People do it for, no, I'm kidding. And that's what happened. I went to Alex Jones and they said, I'm barred from being there. I'm locked out of Alex Jones' website. So I sent him an email to let him know that I'll probably be blocked. Hey, Canadian supporter here. Hey, I'd like to see the videos again. Can you please unlock your website for me? So heads up to those that are really close to Alex Jones and Schroer and everyone that's there, all the guys and gals doing the work there. Let them know that, to be sure that the security for the website is not actually blocking out supportive viewers. That's really concerning that happened. Keith, how's it going, man? Texas in the house, taking a break, and here you are. Yes, thank you so much. We had so much to talk about. Even just what I'm saying is so interesting. Now I have an easy way to have a theme and to talk about interesting things when I come on the stream for the rest of my life, I think, with everything going on, the possibilities and theories that can come from that. We're in the space era, developing it. So they're developing communications. They're developing ways and means of propulsion systems through electric propulsion systems, nuclear propulsion systems, anti-gravity propulsion systems. All this is being done right now, and we're only getting little bits of information by going to look on the website saying, oh, well, look, DARPA's doing a Ouija project now, and oh, well, look at this, Virgin Galactic is setting back their launch for their spaceship. 2024, 2025, it will be an interesting time for someone with a telescope and for sky observers. We should be seeing so much new things going around in the sky. And don't forget, still no confirmation about what happened from the Pentagon and the military recent UFO report. So we're going to talk about that before getting into well, it is news, but before I start venturing around into the other subjects, also, Lisa Eckerly, thank you so much for being here. This is the greatest channel. I only listen to Bruce C's all. Hey, you know, I never got used to that. At least all the amazing comments that people leave me, but it's really to the heart, and I love you so much for it. Bruce, I got the same. Um, oh, I got the same. This on Alex Jones has been blocked on a lot of channels. I had others try to get on Alex Jones, and they can't. Lisa, do you have any idea how happy I am to hear this? So it's a manipulation. Whether it has something to do. Thank you so much for the generous contributions, Lisa, and for being a member, guys. So, Lisa, this has a lot to do at the same time. Well, not have a lot to do. It's simultaneously, though, with what's happening with Elon Musk having finalized his sale with Twitter now, 44 some billion dollars, right? 44 point something billion dollars. He got rid of all the executives and firing them. So they're getting ready for a lash out. You know, they're going to hit back. There's already some people lying online saying that Elon Musk fired me and I have no more job, and it wasn't even true. Even though he has fired some people, we're not going to hide that, boy. He's firing the right ones, let's say. Doing a cleanup. I have confidence in him for now with what he's doing. We will see. I know a lot of people are talking to me about Elon Musk being an elite. I know Neuralink, the connections he has, and that's nothing. There's something, a big meeting that just happened with the Pentagon, Space Force, and Elon Musk. So he is on one hell of a platform with every time the Pentagon's out there. I mean, Elon Musk is there, even though his name's not always popping up or that he's always there. Lots of things that are going on. We hear little bits of information like not getting paid for the 20,000 satellites plus that he was sending over to Ukraine, and now he's not getting paid. I think he's trying to get collected by the Pentagon. So there's a whole bunch of issues and maybe even some deals going on. You know, who knows? Without me making up any rumors here, wouldn't want the Canadian courts to charge me $44 billion or $200 billion for having made a mistake about someone like they did to Alex Jones, is supposedly 2 point something billion dollars. Do you actually think that guy's ever going to pay that? You know, as popular as he is, as many sales as he has, even if he would, and I don't know this, even if he touches into the millions, he's not doing more than touching into the millions. He's not making 50 million a year on that for sure. And if he was, well, that's nobody's business in reality. But the freedom of speech is in trouble. And Joey D, hopefully they're going to keep that going. UFO report, guys. Thanks again, Lisa and everyone, for the generous contributions. The UFO report came out on October 31st. A couple of weeks before that, the Air Force, the U.S. Air Force, came out with a message saying that they're not going to talk about or divulge anything that has to do with anything UFO related, for whether it be national security reasons or not. That part I didn't hear, but I'm pretty sure it's based on that, right? We have branches of the United States Defense Department, which branches out to the FBI, to the CIA, to DARPA, and DARPA innovating technology and bringing robots now. The police in New York got a handful of those robots. Those are, for those of you who didn't see it, it's those dancing robots that I think, you know, a couple of websites, even Alex Jones had posted on InfoWars at one point, showing what was going on with the innovation and the technology of the robots that they're going to be using to probably rip us out of our apartments or something. I don't know. A little bit worried about that. How's the UFO flying to work at the biolab going? Uploaded plasma ball UFO. It was 30% bigger than the moon. Mick West won't even touch it when I asked him to look at it. Oh, he does. Of course not. The more truth somebody finds, for some reason, it's made to look like there's less interest in something. You got people saying, you know, like that orangutan. I'm thinking of Tang orange juice. Orangutan, I think, if it's not Tang, anyways, driving the golf cart online. Right now, there's 99% of you laughed and said, oh yeah, I saw that one 10 times. I saw that one 20 times. I've seen it 10, 15 times. It's always coming up. But Why am I talking about an orangutan that is driving around on a golf cart? Well, that's what people want to see. And YouTube will direct people looking for those videos or present those videos to people. There's a whole bunch of videos that YouTube can present to people without actually presenting out truth videos or UFO videos, of course. Let's scroll down. And the Brucers, something has blocked me from being able to email you and aren't seeing my posts no more. You always respond. Well, Lisa Birch, I'm very sorry for that. By the way, hey, Brucers and everybody, I have missed y'all. That is not cool. You mean to tell me, Lisa Birch, you're here as a member on my channel? You have no access to the channel? This is very concerning to me. Yeah, I'm not too happy about that. Lisa, I would never ignore you, obviously. So first test, you're here at the stream. I am seeing your comment here, so you should be able to, if you help me doing a test, do leave a comment afterwards on the channel in the comment. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to head to your channel. For whatever the reason that happens, some people, I get to their channels and it says, not always, I'm assuming this, I just want to be sure that you're not blocked. For whatever the reason, it's like my channel are blocking members. It's hilarious. It's disgusting, actually. People have problems contributing, have problems donating at the live streams, and not just one person. A lot of, even some of the ones that are here had mentioned that they had some problems. But Lisa Birch, I appreciate you giving me that heads up, and I promise to look into that. I don't know what to say. I'm very sorry about that. Joanna W. Hello. Thank you very much. Sorry again, Lisa Birch. Christina Bassani, how's it going? I see them almost every night now. It's crazy. Thanks for sharing that. I see them all the time also. And there are times where literally it's like they're inexistent. They're like not here. So they're brushing off most of KM in the house. The unknown here. Janine dans la maison. Merci beaucoup. Thanks again, Carlene, for stopping by. Look at the Bible codes or Torah codes. Yes, this will blow your mind. Absolutely. I've been looking at them, and even very, very recently. As a matter of fact, the unknown, literally, it says that we are all encoded in the Bible. Everyone's name is there, and through code. Have you ever taken the Bible and started reading? Scratching my back, so unprofessional. You see Carlson Tucker doing this during his report. Advantage of being at home and not famous. Yeah, listen, the Bible stories, like in Genesis, often I've done the test throwing that name out there. Could be anyone you try. The first letter in the book and the last letter at the end of that book, Genesis, and then skipping the first letter of the first word on every 10 pages, or the first letter in the first word. There's a coding in a way that people are bringing out some incredible information that they're actually finding out things that are arriving in the future with that. So these must have been the professionals that they hired that are professional lottery ticket guys, so yeah, so do I, man. I'm known as El Observador in Spain, and I'm presented on News Snekados and Planeta Snekados channel. He has millions of subscribers, over 1 million subscribers on his both channels, and people are loving the research, but they don't want to come here to see it. They go on other channels to see it. Absolutely, Leah. Like you all are, guys. It's incredibly generous, but that's, yes, some going all out. Thank you very much, Mr. Weishweg, and thanks, Leah, for sharing that. Barb Weiss is in the house. I'll be back. I'm trying to help a musician friend link in my community. Thank you. See you soon. I love you, Barb Weiss. Thank you, Twinsy, for stopping by the channel. That is my other, I was going to say other half. She's not my other half. Sorry about that, Barb. Sort of another half of me. We're very similar in the things that we enjoy speaking about and some of the things that we know. And that's how it is. It's like I compare Barb and I when I talk to, You know, the movie Twins. I'm sort of like, I'm probably the Danny DeVito, and she's like Arnold, even though I'm bigger than her. We're talking mentality here, not size. Thank you, Nick, for being here, brother. Did you hear about Russia officially asked UN about the American B weapon lab in Ukraine? UN refused to answer. I did hear that, Nick. Thank you for bringing up that incredible subject too. And absolutely, I didn't bring it up, but yeah, I heard exactly what you said there. The UN refused to answer this, and this is what's very concerning. Actually, I think it's, I think it's beyond concerning that those things are happening. His Highness, number 40 in the channel. I'm scrolling down here. I know I'm missing some. Stephen A. Thank you very much. Hey, Bruce, a rocket lab is about to attempt a catch of their orbital rocket with a helicopter. What the hell is going on, man? That's a hell of a good one. I didn't see that one yet in the space news that I was looking at this afternoon. Are you talking about the Antikythera mechanism? No, but yeah, that's an interesting one too. So many interesting subjects. Boy, I tell you, I'd have to be a genius. Any one of us would have to be a complete genius to be able to understand and share everything that's out there. Lisa Birch, again, thanks. Happy that you can at least get to the streams until we fix this stupid problem. And I will look into it. Please continue to warn me somehow with it. If you can't in the community, I'll try to look into that. I will look into that. Lisa, I will also mention your name to YouTube team as soon as I'm finished the stream. Lisa, I promise you. I want to get that fixed for sure. King James, there you go. That's Joey D, right? The King James Bible. You got the Jerusalem Bible. You got all these different Bibles that certain religions stick to a certain Bible. You know, you have the Jehovah Witnesses, Jerusalem Bible. That absolutely has to be mine. By the way, the Jehovah Witnesses, they have the right Bible. I enjoy reading the Jerusalem Bible. Am I going to say that James Webb isn't a good one? Hell no. I would never mention that or say anything like that. But in general, I read from the Jerusalem one. I like venturing in all the Bibles and all the different things and why they left out certain stories. In general, that's what I want to read. I want to read what they omitted from the Bible, right? Reading the book of Enoch, looking into the parts, for the Catholics, the Maccabees. Why are all these things taken out of the Bible? Well, it's because there's certain things that they don't want you to know. So it's not that the truth is hidden, it's that the truth was scattered all about the probably universe, but our planet. And at the same time, many translations and different ways of understanding. The interpretation is the word I'm looking for. The Bible was greatly interpreted by many different cultures and country and people with different belief systems. So, until God tells you exactly what the Bible is all about and what the moon's about. Why did I say that? The moon. Funny. Maybe thinking about the moon. They talk about the moon in the Bible too, Not paranoid when we can prove the government and corporations are watching us, just aware. Absolutely. Hey, Anthony Williams, speak of the devil, not you, but the government. That's what they're doing. What do you think DARPA is going to do with their plan to find out exactly what's going on in space by sending up in lower Earth orbit a whole bunch of satellites? First, I always try to get through everyone, and of course I can't, but I do want to get into some of the news because some people will get bored. China's secretive reusable space plane has released an object into the orbit. So these are really important topics that we're going to have a good conversation after about. Didn't even get into the UFO report yet and everything they talked about. If you want to know, go and listen to the last podcast and we'll touch on some of the topics. But basically, they're hiding everything. They blew off Jeremy Corbell's video from the Navy, by the way, saying that it's drone and camera sensor defects that are causing things to be seen triangular. Now, if you listen to the military pilot that first talked about this event, you will see that the pilots, both pilots, are extremely euphoric. Their tone of voice is almost erratic. Um, we even hear a yeehaw. Do you see that thing going? Oh my God. You hear from the other pilot responding to that. So if that was just a drone, like the Pentagon said, well, that military jet pilot professional had no idea that he was looking at a drone that was going 30 miles an hour or 30 kilometers or 30 miles an hour when he mentioned, remember, that they were going against the wind, at so many knots, traveling straight into the wind. Oh my God, this is impossible. Pentagon said, well, it turns out it was just a drone. Okay, no problem. They downplayed everything. Don't forget, there are private meetings for these UFO reports. There's also another private meeting for the UFO report that came out, get this, on October 31st. Came out on the Day of the Dead, or whatever, Halloween, for whatever the reason you celebrate Halloween for. For me, it's not that it's a celebration, it's that dead people exist, and I appreciate dead people, especially some. I was going to say something, I'm not going to say anything. I'll leave that to myself. China carried out the second. Okay, hold on. First of all, the ad says China's mystery space plane releases object in the orbit. So we're talking about in the orbit around Earth. I'm going to talk a little bit about the height level that they're at. So China's reusable experimental spacecraft. This is a secret project there. Private secret project, and nobody knows what they're doing, but the states are following them. And it just so happens they've seen objects following or nearby the space plane, and then they blew it off as, well, maybe it's 7 objects that were behind the space plane, and that the space plane from China was just going by it. They don't know what they're doing. They're dropping things. They're changing the, am I going to say it? Changing trajectories of the planes over certain countries. I'll just read it. It'll be a lot easier. China carried out the second launch of its reusable experimental spacecraft from Jiuquan in the Gobi Desert, of course, atop a Long March 2F rocket. That would have been on my other site there, October 4th. The spacecraft has now been in orbit for 90 days. 2 weeks ago, the spacecraft raised its perigee, going up higher, or the point during its orbit at which a spacecraft is closest to Earth, to shift to a near circular 597 by 608 kilometer orbit. So that's a bit higher than the space station, I guess, and a bit higher than the satellites. And it's just there at that level. Why are they dropping things into the orbit? And why are countries on the defense now with what's going on and having to, warn people of re-entry? And I think they were actually filming the re-entry. Maybe this is the re-entry that Margaret was talking about. The spacecraft has now been in orbit for 90 days, that we just said. In a latest development, the U.S. Space Force's 18th Space Defense Squadron, the 18th, guys, Space Defense Squadron has tracked an object, the 18th, okay, an object close to the space plane. That's where it gets interesting. So they're talking about a secret space plane that is traveling at high excessive speeds in orbit around Earth at between 5 and 600, between 3 and 600 kilometers out, and it's dropping things in the orbit. And scientists and Americans and probably other countries are actually watching what's going on. And in the latest development, the spacetrack.org database added a new entry for an object in a similar orbit to the spacecraft, October 31st, by the way. NORAD ID 54218 22093J, COSPAIR ID, for those that understand the IDs. The object, the nature of which is unknown, that's what concerns me, is likely in very close proximity to the spacecraft. So something following the spacecraft, China's secret spacecraft, which again, they don't know why it's there. that there's something following it, and that they released something into the orbit. What type of tests are they doing? And thus only entered into the database once it could be discerned to be a separate, discrete object with a high level of confidence. So they're not hiding it. They have a high level of confidence that something was seen coming from the space plane. So Robert Christie of Orbital Focus notes that the release of an object could have taken place anytime between October 24th and October 31st. It just so happens that October 24th is the day before or after, if not the day, that I posted the video seeing in the evening between 9 and 10 o'clock p.m. here in Quebec, in the Montérégie, near Valleyfield, Quebec, Salaberry to Valleyfield, UFOs rising up from below the trees and below the houses. Very, very low on the surface in groups of three groups of three UFO lights. I get chills just talking about it. The luck that I was able to be looking that way. They put up lights the next day, Hydro-Quebec, coincidence or not. Of course, they need lights on the street, but I thought it was one incredible, quite the incredible coincidence. China has not released any updates. Okay, first of all, sorry. Taking place anytime between October 24th and October 31st. Performing station, keeping to remain close to the space place, whatever that is. China has not released any updates on the mission since a terse statement announcing the launch of the spacecraft. There are no images of the spacecraft that have been published either, and it's not the first time the spacecraft has ejected an object. So now there's more than one object that was ejected from the spacecraft. China's space plane released an object around 2 orbits before deorbiting at the end of its first 2-day mission in September 2020. The object broadcast 8-band transmissions for weeks afterwards. One possibility, they say, is that the object is a small satellite for monitoring the spaceplane. So now that gets interesting because we talked about some of the pods that I saw falling from the sky. And if you haven't seen it, guys, check out my recent video of a military drone or something UFO. It's alien to us, definitely. Small object flying around with lights on it, okay, that I caught recently. So that interests me with the fact that there could be things flying around also in the atmosphere. So again, one possibility is that the object is a small satellite for monitoring the spaceplane. So when I saw some of the objects coming down, or sometimes I film objects in the sky where we see another object filming those objects. Is it some type of technology? We may never know, but it remains very, very interesting. Chinese crew capsules have previously released banking small companion satellites for monitoring purposes. It could also be a test for deploying small satellite payloads into orbit. Another possibility they're saying is or explanation is that the object is a service module. Astronomer and spacecraft tracker Jonathan McDowell noted this in a tweet, whoever he is. Light is known about China's spaceplane project. Little is known about the project. Chinese space authorities have closely guarded launch operations, hush hush, not talking about it, and only announced its 2 missions once the spacecraft was actually already up in orbit when they first mentioned it. Clues as to the dimensions and shape of the craft appeared in August. However, with apparent images, the payload fairing for the mission appearing online. The spacecraft appears to be related to the development of an orbital segment of a fully reusable 2-stage to orbit space transportation system. A suborbital segment featuring a vertical takeoff and a horizontal landing had a second flight in September this year. So the project recently acquired national level funding from the Natural Science Foundation of China. This project is seen to support the construction of China's scientific and technological powers aerospace powers, and transportation powers, and has practical, social, technological, economic, and other application values, according to the China Academy of Launch Vehicle Technology, which is developing vehicles. So, how long the spacecraft will remain in orbit is unknown, but it is, as with its first flight, likely to land at the lunar base in Qingzhan. Satellite imagery suggests recent activity near the landing site. So these things are getting pretty interesting. It's so late November 1st has a time to deorbit. The new orbit has repeated ground tracks roughly every 71 hours, meaning the spacecraft will make passes over lunar and have opportunities to land once every 3 days. The opportunities during the coming weeks would, however, involve a landing during local nighttime. So still in orbit after 3 months. Anyone want some coffee? I know I do. Lots of news. We have so much news in abundance. And just the fact that China has a spy plane going around Earth and that nobody's saying anything. The Pentagon mentioned it could be lights, those UFOs coming from an adversarial country at the first UFO report, which was 50 plus years after the Roswell report, remains very, very interesting. The China Aerospace Science and Industry Corps is working on its own space plane named Tengian. So there's more space planes and more objects, you know. China in a couple of months, years. Excuse me. China in a couple of years is going to have so many things floating around up there. It's going to make more junk, right? We're going to have more junk flying up into space. So sad. Here's a real quick one. The FCC proposes new bureau for space activities. So what is the FCC? We always hear about that. Is it FCC recommended? You know, FCC, it's the Federal Communications Commission. So in Washington, they say the chairwoman of the Federal Communications Commission announced plans November 3rd, which is yesterday, to reorganize the agency and create a bureau devoted to its increasing work with space systems. This is interesting, guys. In a speech at a Satellite Industry Association event, FCC chairwoman Jessica Rosenworcel and Michael Hoffenpfeffer, no, I'm kidding, just added that in. Little silly names. Rosenworcel, Jessica Rosenworcel, first time I hear these names, they have to be invented, announced her intent to reorganize the Commission's International Bureau into a new Space Bureau and a standalone office of international affairs. That reorganization, she said, would give satellite licensing and regulatory work greater prominence and access to more resources. So what they're going to do, the FCC, create a bureau, and they will be tracking the many thousands of objects that are already being tracked by satellites all across and around the world. So the FCC, so everyone is going towards getting bigger for space. Pentagon has the new satellites up there and spy satellites and whatnot. China, UK, they have Scotland now. Some new news coming from Scotland where they're going to be designing some type of space association over there. Arizona is going to be building Virgin Galactic's new spaceship. That's going to be a company there to an industry to production line, I guess, to build that vehicle and probably a lot of other vehicles. So for those of you in Arizona, well, yet another cool thing to add to that cool area, mysterious area also in Arizona and everything that they're doing. You can only imagine, you know, here in my town, I'm on the outskirts of the American border. Hey, we're going to have to do this in 2 streams, guys. There's a lot of information I'm going to actually write part 2, I think, for the first time in the next stream, because I want to get through everything that we have to talk about. I won't go through it all now because I want to talk to some of you also. Bruce is just coughing now. This is going to happen. Thank God I'm not working on TV. So yeah, the organizational structures of the agency have not kept pace as the applications and proceedings before we have multiplied, she said. This is the spokesperson for the FCC, saying that the FCC has applications under consideration for systems totaling 64,000 satellites. They would be in charge of that. You can't just keep doing things the old way and expect to lead the new, right? They'll leave it at that, the new, right? Having a bureau devoted to space, she said, would go hand in hand with efforts to increase staffing. Do you get what they're getting at? Do you get what they're gonna get to? And develop new regulations for space systems. This organization is a space war coming on. They'll be fighting for the next years. For the next 20 years, we're going to hear China, Russia, and Canada, and now watch the other countries like India and UK, and everyone is going to be fighting. France, also Canada. That's right. Canada has a lot to do with launches. A lot of people don't know that. Most of the launches, supposed Apollo launches, were all done in Canada anyways, at SPAR, and everything's done here in Montreal. Canada and the US is one country. The borders are to keep each of the civilians in their own countries and to document and register who's coming in and out. But as for it being a country, I think we see two different rulers, but in reality, it's the same person that's ruling. So there's a head over all the countries that's ruling over all the countries. So that's why we see sometimes the countries and rulers have a difference in opinion, but it does not mean that they actually disagree with each other. The final word when it comes down to, you guys all saw what happened in the past 2 years when they were mentioning Build Back Better. We had Blondie in the UK, who's not there anymore. We had France, right? The biggest corrupt ass that you've ever seen, right? That's there. Trudeau, another biggest corrupt ass. And the States, Biden, let's go Brandon. That's all I'm going to say. Let's go Brandon. All these people look like they're in charge. They're all really puppets. Remember when you first heard that term? They're, puppet leaders. Interesting, right? You go, well, what's really a puppet leader? It says it for itself what the term is. It just explains everything. Puppet leaders. You got someone controlling them, their every move and controlling everything that they can say. In other words, puppets don't have voices and they're controlled manually. That's exactly what they're doing. So a lot of you probably just said, big whoop. The FCC is starting a bureau was going to be dealing with space. It's because, do you see how big things are getting? Before there, a couple of years ago, all we had was, NASA, not even DARPA, even though they've been around for a long time. DARPA, we're just hearing about them now, and, CIA, FBI. But aside from that, no one else is talking about space or doing anything. We didn't have any private investors in space. Yes, but hidden. But I mean, now, like Virgin Galactic and all these companies, Blue Origin, all the companies that are going to be, one, working for NASA by making vehicles, designing space platforms. That's coming. Very interesting. A space platform. By 2024, we will have depots in space floating and hovering around Earth, between Earth and the moon. Cargo will be dropped off there. Obviously, people will be coming from the moon to get that cargo and bring it back, or they're just going to quite simply do it remotely. I mean, I never understood why anybody ever had to land on the moon as a first landing. All they would have had to have done is send the camera down there. It's like, duh. Pretty sure that's the first thing they did. Maybe that's how they got the images, right? The Hasselblad camera that they used on the moon, I heard a professional that works at the company itself, and that's a professional photographer, and he says no way in hell that those images that the Apollo 11 showed could have been taken with a Hasselblad camera on the surface of the moon. I could have added something unless the atmosphere was a lot higher than they thought. David Blaine, out of the blue like that, magician, whether you want to call him a magician or an illusionist or whatnot. There was a year or two ago, a couple of years ago, not that long ago, David Blaine went up, he does stunts and tricks. He went up into the sky with some balloons, and the ideal was from a very high altitude, plus 10,000 feet, on his way up to over 20,000 feet there, by the way, because he got up very, very high. He was having his recordings spoken about. He had, monitors, gauges on him to record the oxygen levels, and he was doing breathing exercises, like to rise the oxygen levels in his system as he was going really, really high up with nothing except for just the oxygen mask, which he was holding back from putting on. He got to a point where, long story short, right? He got to a point where he was at the oxygen levels that were very similar to the oxygen levels on the moon. And I saw that he seems that he was having a hard time breathing, but that he was doing these exercises and tests, and he was actually able to continue for a while. And he got to or should I say, less than half the oxygen levels on Earth. And he was still breathing freely with his lungs without any oxygen tank or anything over him. So, of course, he was getting close to the point of passing out. So why am I talking about that? Well, it comes down to, if there's oxygen on the moon, well, yes, they went there, and they used a Hasselblad camera. I'm not getting into whether they went or not. We're talking in theory, if somebody would go to the moon, just based on the temperatures, not based on whether they can or not, even though they said they lost the technology. Would they be able to go to the moon and breathe with a little bit of oxygen? It could be that's why you see astronaut suits. It could be because they're actually just using that to breathe, right? Maybe one day they'll be using astronaut suits on Earth when everything's contaminated. Maybe it has to do with the contamination, not necessarily because the oxygen levels are low. They sort of, how can I say it? As smart as they were in the 50s and 60s, they were not able to prevent everything from being held back from the public, as to now, when technology evolves and advances, that we're seeing things without even needing professionals. We know that cameras that they use could not have done what they did. And we're talking about, even though I did hear that from a professional, I heard some of you way before that talk about the cameras that they were using, and were they able to use the cameras because there were cracks, there was dust coming into those bloody cameras and everything. So it's the new space era where they're developing ways and means to be able to leave Earth and come to Earth without doing launches. They want a spacecraft. That's another thing they're working on. We talked about last stream, working on a way to leave Earth and come back to Earth without have to always reusable launches that have to come back and land on pads. Eventually, from here to 2030, if I can be safe to say, we'll probably see some spaceships from Earth designed that will be able to land in mountains and sort of develop a way of a bigger defense way to protect Earth. But it's never about protecting Earth. It's about the U.S. being strategically ahead and have superiority over anti-gravity technology and the advancement in space, the evolution of space from China. China's going to town. China's doing launches every bloody day, if I'm not mistaken, and they're working on their space station. Russia will be working on their space station eventually, and probably every country will have access to having a space station up there doing combined work. And that's how they keep the secrets, is that they're doing work together. We fight here on Earth, but in space they get along. Makes no sense. Seeing JAXA or Chinese astronauts, ISS space station, Russia going to the ISS space station, when we see there's a bloody war there, they're giving themselves handshakes and, yeah, let's go. That's the real life. That's the real gift of it all, right? What's happened? Anyways, I won't even get into that. Artemis, another space organization, offers to send, and then I'll stop a little bit and we'll go and talk, to send U.S. hosted payloads to on-orbit port. A port, literally in suspension or in orbit around Earth and around the moon, wherever they want to do it. Long Beach, California says Artemis is inviting U.S. companies with small businesses innovation research. That's a word. It's the most interesting thing I've ever heard. Small business innovation research. Can you imagine working for those companies? They're trying to find ways how to get to space. Literally, it's the first time people are going to try to get to space. is how I take it. Through a program, research, or I'm not going to stop coughing, eh? I'm getting mad now. Transfer funding to test payloads or subsystems in low Earth orbit on port. I'm going to turn on the fan now because now it's hot, 77 degrees. You got to love November, eh? Like 6 weeks from Christmas or 7-8 weeks from Christmas. Guys like, don't talk about Christmas. Through a program called Embark, Artemis is offering to fly payloads to the port, that suspended port that's going to be around Earth. That would be cool because we get to maybe see some of them, unless they're in geostationary orbit and they're turning with the rotation of Earth. We wouldn't see them. The program Embark, Artemis is offering to fly payloads to the port, scheduled to launch in 2024 for $150,000. As you can imagine, okay, what's going to happen is they will not be making any money at the price point, David Barnhart says. Artemis CEO and co-founder told Space News. I like how they always talk about there's no money involved in this. There's no, nothing secretive. We're just going to build a port. Instead, Artemis is following a model popular in the tech sectors of offering infrastructure as a service. So NASA's not doing it all, right? What's happening is that all these, as we said, small business innovation research associations, and they're going to be creating patents and new ideals of being able to have all these things that NASA is going to be asking all of them to build, ways to get cargo up, ways to, with satellites ideals and stuff. So there's a whole lot of people that are getting fundings, and there's even contest and competition for these companies to compete. So we're going to be hearing a lot of really cool stuff, even though it's not everything that's being told to us. We're in a time where we should be hearing the most we've ever heard before about what's going on in space. I just think it's absolutely incredible. Virgin Galactic delays introduction of second suborbital spaceship. Pretty cool looking spaceship. Washington says Virgin Galactic's second suborbital space plane won't enter service in 2023. So that's important to know. Another setback in launches. Mark my words, Artemis, they're going to be setting that back maybe to 2026, maybe later in the year. Who knows? In November, because they want to start work on the next generation vehicles. So there's a lot of vehicles that they want to make for now tourists going out into space. Why the race for all of this? So do you think that makes sense, that because there are lights that are invading Earth, guess we're going to just start bringing tourists out into space, right? Do you think that makes sense, bringing tourists up into space when UFO lights are buzzing around Earth? Still, could be China, could be something else. In a November 3rd earnings call, chief executive of Virgin Galactic, which his name is Michael Caldlazier, chief executive of Virgin Galactic, said the company was prioritizing our resources towards getting its Spaceship 2 vehicle, number 2 vehicle, VSS Unity, back into service in the second quarter of 2023. So that's, the efforts will likely impact the pace of work on our second spaceship. So again, people are being set back for a whole lot of things and a whole lot of different reasons, of course. Did something just come up with Artemis? Well, they restored now. They're restored for the Artemis 4 mission, which is the lunar landing that they're going to be getting into. NASA's restored plans to include a lunar landing on its Artemis 4 mission to the moon later this decade, months after saying that the mission would instead be devoted to the assembly of the lunar gateway, the portals around Earth. So basically, they're designing a teleportation device around Earth, which is going to be the entering and exiting probably of the solar system. How many portals are there? We have a retired president from the United States and a longtime retired president. We have her daughter now that's doing all these research and investigations on these portals and time traveling. And, everyone's just like, well, is it real? Is it not real? In a way, we're seeing a lot of truth right in front of our face, and people are expecting, the UFO report to tell us every single thing that's going on. In reality, we see it right there. Secret codes in every version of the Bible. You're absolutely right about that. Red Foreman's in the house. Star Hunter again. Smash that like button. Love you guys. Thank you so much. OBX Arms says, hey, Bruce, looks like Korea is going hot. That'll be interesting to find out. Lots going on, too, with South Korea. Oh, my gosh. I'll say like my mother said, smart lady. She says, for Pete's sakes, let it hit. Let everything that has to hit now so we can see what the hell was going to get hit, so we can see what the hell's going on, right? That's what everyone should be doing, is hoping that everything just happens now so we know what the hell's going on. That's my take on it. That's how I look at it. Alias Valatlo, thank you, brother. Thank you very much, man. Nikki from Germany, thanks a lot, you guys. Colton's back. WEF can get bent. Oh, yes. Yeah, and it's looking good. Nasako Alias, it's looking good. Any contributions that came in while I was here that I did not see, I will see them in a couple of seconds. I'll scroll down. Captain America, how's it going, brother? Hey, Bruce, I think those explosions on the moon is to destroy evidence of buildings on the moon. Wow. This is such an interesting stream. It's going to be such an interesting stream tonight. We have to go longer than 2 hours. That's amazing what you said about the explosions, because in reality, it could be many theories. It could be something that's natural. It could be something not natural. It could be something that the people on the moon are in a war. It could be exactly what Captain America just said, that the explosions on the moon can be to destroy the evidence of buildings that are on the moon, no matter who's doing the destroying. That is very scary, eh? And man, they honestly could be doing that, blowing everything up into oblivion when you think of it, which would be like beyond scary. Ron's here, Cherokee Nation watching. Thank you very much. Keep videos coming. Thank you very much, Cherokee Nation. Ron, thank you guys. Cherokee Nation. What did I just hear on the news that was going on? Well, I'll tell you what, guys. They were talking about the American Native indigenous people having, I don't know if you know it, I'll throw that one in. It's so interesting because I have definitely proud to have some blood of that, of Indian blood. Thanks to my mom's side, they were talking about as stickballing or stickball, the invention of the sport stickball, which came from the American Native indigenous people. And I got a really good laugh because what I was going to do is put a picture of the stickball and then a boat arriving to the island. And then I was going to put an image of us at a baseball stadium, which a lot of the ideals from all the sports around the world have evolved from those ideals. Anyways, I just thought that was interesting. It's true, though, because they're celebrating this month, if I'm not mistaken, is celebrating the indigenous people of Native America. So throwing that out there, we learned so much. There's nothing more incredible of the Native American stories and the way they describe the earth, the gods and everything. A lot of incredibly beautiful stories, depending on what nation, what tribe. But Peace to each and every one of you. So for me, it's an honor having one person from the Cherokee Nation here watching in. Love you guys for it. Sarah K. I get to catch a live stream. Yes, so happy that you guys did. Mr. Peter Benton, thanks again for the generous contributions. In front of you, thank you so much. Nigel's here from Nottingham, UK. Moon is up. Hey, thanks for letting me know the moon is up. I've been trying for the past 3 days to get the moon. Little problem. I'll have to tell you what's in the south and what's happening to it. Notice how the moon's not going high in the sky. Tonight will be definitely the night I'm going to try to get it. Don't worry, I got my eyes on that landing site, guys. A gift from the heavens. A landing site a minute to 2 minutes away from my home, which if ever there's lights there, I have to go and see. I'm wanting to go into the woods there and to really go venture around the area, and it's a little exciting. As a matter of fact, in the areas where they land is the area I also posted in a video from Saint Anicet, Quebec, where there is a town there that was flooded and was destroyed, and everyone left, and only the cemetery there left there. But anyways, long story short, that's where the field reaches, where I showed you guys the UFO landing site, where they would have, or being careful, not the landing site, the site where they were seen close to the surface, because I didn't show any UFO on the surface, but they were close to the surface. So it's below a plane level, below the satellite level. So in back of that, you have forests that run for traveling at 100 kilometers an hour. It's 15 minutes, and it's only forests, and it's all forests that don't have an entrance. It's forests between farmers, big fields, and the farmers in that area there, it's not small farmers. You got big farmers in the US. We got big ass farmers in Canada too that have hundreds of kilometers of fields that they own and they plow all the time. You know, they fix all the fields. The UFOs land there. 12 crop circles landed right here on the outskirts of another town, neighboring town outside of Ormstown, Quebec, where they landed literally on the surface in a cornfield in a town where there's no streetlights, no restaurants at all. There's a gas station, which is the old pump. It's the big high backs that you see in the 1800s, pulling it out of the ground with a pump. Literally, I'm not lying. That's where the UFOs land around here, because there's a lot of farmland. I'm on the outskirts of Montreal. It's surrounded by corn and barley fields, and it's along the US border. So there's areas where of no man's land. There's nobody there. Nobody's there except for a maybe close by neighbor that's walking in the no man's land along these like tombs, not tombs, but like tombstones, where it says Canada on one side and it says US on the other side. I went to my friend Barry's house a couple of years ago, and he brought me to the States side to show me, you know, it's right on his land, right? And there's lots of those areas that it's no man's land, and people are not allowed venturing on that side. So where do you think the UFOs land? They land there in the forests. Light that you see going down from the state side, you go, oh shit, it looks like you landed in Canada or you landed in the forest. And us on Canada side, we're looking in the States at the same time to Malone, New York, in the States where all the Aeolians are there. If you look it up, the town, that's the border where I'm seeing these UFO lights, that I saw those UFO lights lift up off or near the surface. The one that came down to the house, as a matter of fact, appeared right over that area, which, by the way, now you guys know there's a biological laboratory there. The name was changed. Our town was told it was a marijuana depot and that it was very, very high security, because obviously they don't want the marijuana stove that are just stocked up and stacked on pallets, right? So they said. So that is an area in town here where you can't stop unless you turn in. There's a track there. People arrive at the track. It's a dangerous track. Your eyes are keeping your attention onto that hill that's there that you can't see on the other side. There's always a car up your ass. So no, you can't pull over and take a picture of that area. You got to do like the way I showed it in Google Earth, or from far, far away into town where the IGA is. So these areas where the UFOs were, they have the Hydro-Quebec junction that's there. You have a fire station across the street, and you have a 5G tower. So there's a lot of power coming from those areas. And when I used to work on the medical buses, and I was almost going to work into the taxis, actually, but the taxis for the people that were that had medical insurances. Long story short, I used to pick up. Often, I've picked up taxi drivers from the States coming to work in Canada. Sorry, train drivers, guys. Sorry. I was a taxi driver. I was driving a taxi truck. So I was picking up people from the States that were coming on the trains, getting off on the trains here. So where I live and close to the border, and even the currency, the money that we have here in town, even though it's Canada, all the dimes, nickels, and quarters are all American dimes, nickels, and quarters, because there's a lot of people coming from the border into this side. And here I thought they were coming because they like their French fries, but it could be they're coming in because they're working at those labs. And if somebody's in Malone, New York, that comes in on this side of Canada's border, listen, we're talking about 15, 20 minutes, half an hour away from the States. They can go work there and go and head out back. They're not deep into Canada at all. They're along the border, and they're just jumping over from the border, that no man's land that's there. So the area I want to go cover is an area of no man's land in front of you. Thank you very much for the super sticker. Really appreciate that, you guys. Ruben Venters in the house. How's people in China full up there in South Africa? They obviously have deep pockets to woo our corrupt government. Yep. Don't trust them at all. You're right about that. I was mentioning the other day, hey, Kiwi, they were talking about a Bruce-looking Dulce base. Yes, supposed an alien human base. I heard that too, the Dulce base, Kiwi. It would be incredible getting the chance to go to these places. Holy crap, eh? Wouldn't it be amazing? I forgot what I was saying. So much information coming out. Wilberforce, Presto, thank you very much. Colorado, Fort Collins, hello to all the intelligent people. Thank you very much. People from Fort Collins, that's super cool, guys. Thanks. Thanks again, KB. Yeah, Ruben, like you're saying, well, actually, guys, did you hear about the incredible news? We're living in exciting times. I'm getting hungry. Ethiopia. The wars are over, guys. We've never, ever, anyone alive seen a moment where there weren't any wars there. Little glitch. The people that were doing all the war there, in other words, the militia that was there, is now becoming a part of the political. So do you find it scary that Afghanistan, basically they gave it over to terrorists, and now maybe another countries are going to be doing the same? Got to be careful what I'm saying, but do you see something happening? But apparently it's good news, because they're not considered terrorists, the militia that's in Ethiopia. Now, so long story short, the first sign of peace, the militias holding their guns up, they have to give in their guns and everything to be able to not be considered terrorists, but they're equally giving up on the terrorism. It's funny, even though they're not terrorists, with the militia. But don't forget, we don't know about these countries. Apparently the militia was there to obviously protect the country. And then I heard something incredible. Ethiopia is making a law that they do not want foreign or adversarial countries outside of their own regions. Okay, other countries like the U.S. I'm going to shoot that in there, the U.S. They didn't say the U.S. They're just saying other countries will not have rights to use the military in the countries of other people. So do you understand? I'm being very careful with this. The states are using the powers of other countries and using their military. Why? It doesn't make any sense that they're doing that. Well, they're the leading country. The states are the ones in charge. The people are wondering, why are we giving aid to Ukraine? Why are we giving aid to Puerto Rico back in the day when things were happening? It's, don't these countries have their own money? Well, it's because they go and take power of certain things and oil and whatnot in those countries. This is something really serious. When you sit down and really start doing research, you don't have to listen to people like Alex Jones or anyone to understand exactly what's going on. You can really come up with your own ideal that there's whether it be a coup d'etat, there's a takeover in most all the countries that we're looking at. which is for me is pretty obvious. It's quite fascinating. If you go after the Bible, the Earth is 5,000 years old. That is a little bit short. And you see, Wally, there's a lot of scriptures or old ancient information on documents that they differ with themselves. It doesn't coincide, and there's always a couple of years missing. After the Egyptians, all the history is missing after the Egyptians because there was a time of peace, and it's always recurring. I got a lot of you that come here and you tell me all the time, Bruce, everything that we see is a reoccurring cycle. The sun's going to do what it did thousands of years ago, and there could be some differences because obviously the sun's aging, getting older, it's growing, it's expanding with the helium coming out of it. It's going to become a red gas giant at one point. Betelgeuse's blew its top in 2019. All the changes in the country, the volcanoes that are coming up. Do you see how I'm jumping from story to story? I've never been so excited in my life with everything that we're getting to see. I mean, I could die tomorrow and, well, not that I'd be content, but I'll be able to say that I saw a lot of things happen on this earth. A lot of the changes that are coming now, which are, the changes are very, very scary. There's going to have to be a part 2 to this. So they're blowing everything off in the UFO report. They're saying that all the videos they have, it can be explained, but there's still that thing that they're saying that not all of them are explained. The government does confirm that there are some sightings that are unexplained and that they don't know themselves exactly what's going on. So that remains very, very interesting. I can't thank you enough. Legalize intellect. Legalize intellect. Thanks for that kind message. Thanks for the thumbs up, you guys. Peter Benton, Carlene. Thanks, guys, for the generous contributions. I'm scrolling down all the way down. I'm going down. That the last Australian here, latest news, mystery object was emergency release of bad Chinese takeaways. We're going to see the truth coming out. They're talking about it right now. As I was seeing that information, it was coming out. You said it. Resistance is eternal. Mr. Peter Benton is on the bus back home. Guys, take the time to check out his channel too. Gabber Beast TV also has some videos. Peter Benton caught incredible UFO debris. I want you guys to go check that out. Very recently, at the same time, he has some other cool videos. Films the sun, films the moon, and knows a lot about nature and has a lot of videos about nature there too. Leia. Thanks again, Carlene, for the generous contribution. Thank you so much. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Peter, I need to hear these things, you know. I love that. I love that. A little inside joke, which by Peter Benton that says, but Bruce, I go further, which our last little troll that we had during the live stream, which I don't even need to mention the channel. But apparently, luckily, I have some people coming to tell me how to do the research using my research to try to explain to me that I'm not showing enough things. So I guess I got a guy come on, and Darla and a few of you saw that. I was very kind to that person. I allowed him to come on after leaving me 15 comments of saying, Bruce, another live stream, and I'd like to come on, and you're not replying. And then he told everyone that he knew me with a certain Mars channel, that they had conversations with me, and they were trying to explain things to me. I thought it was pretty cool. So then if you watch the stream, Peter, you'll see me say in the stream, bro, I've never, ever met you in my life, man. That's what I said. Her being very, very quick to justify and defend myself because I don't know that guy at all. That's for sure. Shiny future for us or for US. Absolutely. And it will be shiny, my friend. You can be sure of that. The feds run out of bribe money and all the secrets start coming out soon. Do you realize how smart that is, what you just said? Those are truths. I get a lot of smart people that come here, and I get a lot of people that give me little insides And the ones that are like writing this long is usually they don't really know what's going on. The ones that little bits of information. But for me, hearing this, that the feds will run out of bribe money, you're right on the money, and you're right around the exact time that they ran out of money. We're talking as recently as about a week or 2 weeks ago. We have now, this is new, the Democrats on the left, the United States and Congress, are starting to ask around, do you think we should maybe stop sending, money to Ukraine? Even though we got Biden on one side saying, don't worry, carte blanche, by the way, they're sending over checks over there to our Volodymyr Zelensky in the Slavokrenia, which is saying, hey, write in the amount you want. There's no problems about it. American people got your back. Because it is the American people. Hey, the Canadian people, now people in France, the UK, and I'm not naming enough of the places. There's other people funding. Every country probably in the world is funding what's going on to protect something. And what are they protecting? Certain labs, certain wall, can't get into that too much because it remains something beyond incredibly interesting. Who's changing the airspace? Lisbon, Spain, around the world. Lisbon and Spain are the two areas that I heard, and there's 4 or 5 other areas that they're being very careful for hours at a time, a no-fly zone in a certain area. So they are waiting for something to come into the orbit. They're passionately waiting for something to fly into orbit. Oh, Leia, that's true. I didn't know you knew Crawface. Thank you very much for, Crawface. I was thinking of him just 2 days ago. I hope, of course, everything is okay. An amazing supporter of the channel. He's always been very busy these days. I'm pretty sure that's what he said. That was the only reason why he wasn't around. But honestly, I do miss him. A lot of us miss him. Crawface, hell of a good guy. Really good guy. Dollar in stocks, says Ruben Venter, are busy taking a dive. Yep. Watch something major happen soon. It will. You know what? As a matter of fact, I never understood how they were able to keep the gold and the silver at that rate. You can see silver is the most manipulated market. Silver, the most manipulation you'll ever see throughout years and history, right? Back up to 1981 when the silver was worth double. Think of it, 1981, and you go back to today, 2011, there's certain jumps and drops that silver did. And when you look at gold, not so much. Gold is more like that. Silver is shoom, shoom, shoom. Then up, down, and then over all the time. But we're going to see a drastic change where everything is going to change completely. But don't forget, the elites are not being very successful, guys, with the new agenda, the 2030 agenda. Keep your eyes plastered on Ukraine and Russia, what's going to happen. I'm not even going to give my opinion on that. The people on both sides are the innocent ones. Let it be known that I always think that. I love my Russian friends. I love my Ukrainian friends. Slava, both for me. But unfortunately, it's only the people and the citizens of the countries that are at war that have to endure everything, including you and I, America, the States, okay, Canada, France, England, New Zealand, Sweden, Netherlands, Spain, all these countries, in Brazil now. Oh, can't mention that. Shit. Not even allowed anymore to mention that. But it's the funding and money. It's all coming from one area, one agenda, and they're not being very successful in doing what they're doing. Who would have thought it would have been so hard to bring drag queen shows into schools? What the hell are they trying to do? It's a change in the perception of the people. They're controlling your minds, people. DARPA got caught doing secret projects and mind control. Year 2015 is not that long ago, including Helms, the CIA at the time, Project Paperclip. We had Maurice Duplessis here, the Canadian Holocaust, where everything came out that there was all this experimentation being done on humans. So do you think it ever stopped? It probably most likely didn't stop. Probably most likely won't ever stop. We're going to see that from the beginning. Robots in space. It's coming. They're going to have robots on those ports, and where the cargo will be dropped off, and the robots will be organizing the, like a depot, if you want. So we are getting to the point where we're really experimenting on these things. So where do you think they're doing that experimentation? Do you think they're doing it on the moon, or do you think they're doing it here on Earth, in ground, Antarctica? Where are they hiding? Is Hollow Earth, inside of Earth? I don't necessarily know much about the story of Hollow Earth, but I'll tell you what, I know for a fact, I confirm to you, there really are entrances into the center of the Earth, whether it was built or not. There are canals that are there for sure. Lava tubes on the moon. They talked about recently on the moon, they found pits that were like 170 feet deep. I don't know how deep they were. 17 degrees in the bottom of those pits. You could walk around with a shirt and be cool, or to have a sweater and be warm, or be just okay, connected to all these other tunnels and stuff. So what are they doing there? The big thing is that, are aliens there? Are humans there? Did they get a chance to go there? Is it a breakaway civilization? How could an alien race, an ET race, advance a human race without necessarily landing here, and also keeping in mind that they could already have always been here, right? I'm not going to rule this out. I'm just touching on other theories. Bring a human away from Earth, a group of people. You don't even have to be a big group. They can make babies wherever the hell they are. Bring them to another planet. Teach them a communication between human and ET extraterrestrial. Don't forget, they might be a lot more like us than we think, those aliens. When we think of aliens, we imagine that, trying to communicate with that. Those could be hybrid secret projects used for other things, used for war, right? What's the best way to be sure your soldier is happy and content? Don't give him a family. Don't give him any sexual desires. You can laugh at it. I know it's probably true, right? Put into their brains, literally encoded in their DNA, one mission, okay? To serve, to obey, to listen. They don't even supposedly have voices, whether they're talking through telepathically or not, right? So you bring a breakaway civilization, you break away a human civilization, you teach them to be in contact with aliens and humans, you teach them the whole ideal of what humans and aliens do together, or what the aliens are doing to better the human race. You teach them, you explain to them, you start, some of them become astronauts. And then at one point, do you agree with me that only after about 100 years, they should be advanced enough to be able to have humans working for them, aliens that are coming here to Earth to do their every wish and desire, whether it be for aliens to protect Earth or not? They can be using humans as a means of communication. You don't hear talking a lot about that. People are like, well, wouldn't you need a universal language to be able to communicate with aliens? Yes. I Am Kai channel mentioned that the other day, and it's true. You'd need a communication way to be able to universally communicate with another being. Do you agree with me? Every single intelligent race or being that's out there will be able to communicate using sign language. 100% sign language. Matter of fact, maybe that's how they talk to aliens, through sign language, especially if they're telepathic. Whether that be true or not, I'm still on the fence for that, So Lisbon changing the airspace. In Lisbon, Spain, maybe even in the UK, I'm not even sure myself, but what the hell is it? I want to have nothing to do with China dropping shit into the atmosphere, and especially out down on the ground and stuff. This is crazy. This is crazy stuff. A couple of hours ago, there were over hundreds of thousands of people protesting somewhere in the world that we're not allowed talking about, but everything's changing. No more war in Ethiopia. So we're looking at a battle between good and evil, 100% a battle between good and evil of things that are happening. And that just remains absolutely Mark T. Keen, absolutely in exciting. Jezebel Bruce, that's summer. It's 44 Fahrenheit here in West Highland, Scotland. Absolutely incredible. Nice weather. Here too, it's beautiful, gorgeous weather. I would have to friend you to let you see my UFO video. Taking for a ride instead. Mark T. Keen, is Andrew here? Andrew, hello, Andrew. I did not see Andrew. Of course, I can't see everyone. Listen, there was a lot of people here. Out to Lunch is here. You all hit the like button. Thank you very much. There's an interesting one, eh? So, Elias and Kai is here with my hiccups. Rocket could fail near Baja, Mexico. Hope not a fault line. That's interesting, Margaret. Margaret. Jesus, Margaret. Let me take a little search here. I'm curious. Because there is something that crashed to Earth. That they're being hush hush about it, and I wonder if it's not that. No, it's 33 minutes ago. So for those, and Margaret, thank you for bringing this up. It was also part of my speech, which I didn't even get a chance to get even close to. Here we go again. They say Chinese rocket booster crashes back to Earth over Pacific Ocean. This was posted 30 minutes ago. You got to be very careful. I'm always very careful when I'm reading something that I see online. Sometimes they post something an hour ago, but it's information from something that happened a long time ago. I get caught often with that. This was published 3 hours ago. Here we go again. Chinese rocket booster. And again, yes, crashes back to Earth over Pacific Ocean. Isn't it interesting that in the Pacific Ocean, that area where it's going to crash or where it did crash, that Tonga in the Pacific, and Spain in the South Pacific, and everywhere that there was the earthquakes, the volcanic activity. I believe the biggest activity and explosions and change in the world is going to happen in the South Pacific and all along the equator line. That's where we're going to see everything happen. And it's where we've been seeing everything happen for the past 2 years because of our sun. The sun is crazy active. Those just arriving to this channel, by the way, I also filmed the sun. I was on the ball today to look at it, and it's can't say it's quiet. You don't see any of the flares or sunspots very much, but there is some activity very recently. It's high activity, some dangers for some M-class, C-class flares in the past few days, over the past week. And as you all know, the sun changes extremely rapidly. The U.S. Space Command confirmed pieces of the rocket splashed down in 2 areas of the Pacific Ocean early Friday morning. So it is this morning that we're talking about that. And this was posted about 3 hours ago. So if it's 3 o'clock here now, probably this afternoon time. So early Friday morning, about 88% of the population was at some risk. Okay. With this week's re-entry, because don't forget, it's been flying around for I don't know how many months or days, probably months around Earth. So they've been probably continually tracking and checking this out. Unreal. So about 88% of the population was at some risk with this week's re-entry, but we're still more likely to win the lottery than get hit by falling space junk. This is what enrages me. At the end of everything they say, massive space rock headed towards Earth within 50,000 kilometers of Earth is so dangerous. But luckily, NASA says there's no danger of it hitting Earth. They always add that into it. I mean, have they ever been off about their predictions or predictions about areas or numbers? They always are. They always are off by a couple of thousands of feet or something. So who says they're not off of this? So again, no danger of us getting hit by falling space junk. So they must have just decided to stop the planes from flying around in 6 countries for nothing. Definitely wasn't for nothing. They admitted that they don't know what the hell it is. A long march, like Margaret said, 5B rocket carrying China's Mengtian science module. The final modules of Tiangong space station, they're building the space station, lifts off from the Wenchang Space Launch Center in southern China, Hainan province, on October 31st, 2022. So the same time that this launched, Margaret, we have the UFO report from the Pentagon and the military that also came out. A Chinese rocket booster tumbled back to Earth, if it did, on Friday during an uncontrolled re-entry into the Pacific Ocean. So apparently it has hit, marking the fourth time in 2 years. In 2 years for a crash of a rocket from China. On October 31st, China launched the final module. The final module, guys. So the space station is too big, so they have to send it up in 4 sections. So these massive sections, each launch will be bringing up these objects, and then they'll be connecting them in space. So we are living in really exciting times. October 31st, China launched the final module of its Tiangong space station on a Long March 5B rocket. After about a week later, the rocket booster, about the size of 2 tractor trailers, this is ginormous, okay, made an unplanned re-entry. By the way, they said it was at the same time that they announced refusal to Europe satellite or something. Something happened, okay, so it could have to do with, the hidden war that we're seeing, the frequency war, the behind the scenes sort of war that's going on. Very interesting. Made an unplanned entry into Earth's atmosphere, which experts said goes well above the 1 in 10,000 level of risk accepted by NASA and most nations with space programs. U.S. Space Command confirmed pieces. Ouch. Ears buzzing now. U.S. Space Command confirmed pieces of the rocket splashed down in 2 areas of the Pacific Ocean early Friday morning. So we do have confirmation of a splashdown, more like a Big Bang splashdown sort of thing. NASA Administrator Bill Nelson, don't forget, he was on the horn, the administrator, mentioned months ago that China is trying to take over the moon, to take domination, have domination or dominative rights, whatever you want to call it, over everyone else that's going to be there. So it is a race to get to the moon. Before we get off here, they're running to the moon to see who's going to be advanced enough to be able to get there first, most likely. Doesn't this ring a bloody bell with what happened when they said there was a space race with Apollo 11, when Russia had just sent up Sputnik 1? Anyways, it's so NASA Administrator Bill Nelson condemned the People's Republic of China for the re-entry, calling it an unnecessary risk. They did not share specific trajectory information, which, why are we permitting a country causing genocide to their own freaking people, and the Uyghurs there in their country are totally discriminatory against all religions except for a couple of handful religions that are allowed over there? How can that all happen? How can China have the right to be launching stuff into space? Because it's a full-on war. Because there's definitely a full-on war with what's going on. You're seeing the connection that they're trying to drag in China. Biden's trying to drag in China to the States. Now China's upset with the States, what they're doing because of Taiwan. Those are all things that we have to look for, not forward to, but to look for. China, the Taiwan invasion, what's going on? What the North Korea is doing with their styrofoam rocket testing all the time, continually, even dropping bombs not far from Alaska. That's, very concerned about that. Remember the Big Bang that North Korea did, and they thought around the world it was an earthquake, and then after that, volcanic activity sort of started. The Big Bang sonic booms that we're hearing. Oh my God, guys, it's incredible. So I can't get through all of it in this stream, which is good, because we have a shitload to talk about, and it's either always one or the other. Can never always get to everyone's comments and contributions, but I can't thank you all enough for the amazing support you give the channel. I hope you appreciate hearing the information. It's up-to-date information from hours ago, everything that's coming out on the news. They bring it out, they talk about it for a week, then it winds up in some dump somewhere and we don't hear about it anymore. So we're waiting for a lot of new information coming out about a whole bunch of things. Anthony, everyone, thanks again for being here. It would be funny if the board was just the company name, like Lowe's board. Yeah, exactly. We got DARPA doing the Ouija project. We still didn't even talk about that. Doesn't matter. We'll be talking about that in the next stream. Putting up a live stream part 2, continuation, and just space news, guys. Everything that's going on. We'll talk about space news. I want to talk about and hear about what you guys and gals think of the hush-hush secrecy that's evolving and revolving around, both evolving and revolving around the UFO report that came out by the Pentagon and the military. Sarah Kay's in the house. I want to thank you all for having stopped by. Static Bats in the house. And Oz Jeff Gray, OZ Jeff Gray. Thanks to all new channels. I'll try to answer a bit more of the comments next stream, even though I almost never can answer them all. I would imagine you're going to get a bunch of new subscribers, Bruce. You got a shout out on a very big podcast yesterday. Sarah Kay, thank you very much. I did not know that. Listen, those are things that sometimes take a long time to happen, but Sarah Kay, I love you for letting me know that. And feel free to name the podcast. And if not, oh boy, I'll be excited. I want to thank everyone for having subscribed today. There are some new arrivals. And if the people here are coming in from another channel, thank you so much. And of course, hats off to the podcasts that would have talked and mentioned the channel. Sarah Kay, I'll be looking into that and hoping there'll be more people. I also agree with you about the cell phone thing. Yes, absolutely. Dangerous for cancer and stuff. We never know. Also, I encourage people to use speaker for talking for that reason. It's exactly what I even do with a regular phone. Sarah Kay, thank you for that beautiful little bit of information that you shared with me about someone sharing out the channel. That it's proof that some people are really there for truth, and they try to share out the truth from other channels. Most of these channels are there talking about other channels. So I was always wondering, why is my research not winding up on these big platforms? They do. The research does wind up on a big platform, but it doesn't necessarily come out. I think, Sarah Kay, I went all out a year ago in August. I had the unfreaking incredible chance to be presented on a platform that the Pentagon UAP Task Force, as a matter of fact, the Carter administration, and everyone who starts and does these UFO conventions that occur every year. You have MUFON from many different countries and directors and investigators, both new and old, that are there. They show my work at the convention. I had a chance to have other ufologists that are professionals. It was at a convention, Sarah Kay, that was not amateur ufologists. It was professional ufologists, scientists, unidentified aerial task force, space force. Again, a shout out to GARPAN, GARPAN. GARPAN Ufology was the first governmental association, I call it. It's not a governmental association, but there's a connection with the Space Force, right? And even Canadian astronauts, and I think CSIS, the spy agency and stuff. These people are usually all involved when it comes to ufology associations and government and all of that, and MUFON. In a way, they're all being seen by this one branch, 3 branches, 4 branches that are looking at civilian sightings. But just the fact that I was able to have it presented on their website, not website, at the convention. It was international. It was televised. And I'm more than honored to have been able to share the UFO that came down to the house and the UFOs exiting the moon. Before I get off, if you just arrived to this channel, Shane, thanks for being here, you guys. Yes. Oh, yeah. Q clearance and stuff. So, a bit above that than Anthony. Even me, I'm not completely educated on that side, because these are things that are hush hush. You have to do a lot of research and digging to be able to come up with all that. Scary stuff, His Highness. Very scary. Wow. Sarah, thanks again. I'm really ecstatic about that. Ladies and gents, I'm going to thank you all for having stopped by. That is the time that we all stream. Aleos Valatla, thank you very much for the generous contributions. We're streaming at 8 o'clock tonight. Merci, Aleos. Absolutely, KB, the Dulce base. Yeah, there's also the Dulce sightings, KB. Very interesting subject. As a matter of fact, I promise to jot that down and try to re-enter it in the conversation. Thanks for bringing it up. It's all thanks to you guys that I bring up all the, a lot of the conversations that are here and topics. Some guy just posted a video on here about our, oh, surprise, people can share usually. Cindy Durbin, thank you very much. Now I'm upset because a lot of people are gone and probably think that I did not see the contributions. Anika, thanks again. These beautiful contributions, guys. Absolutely incredible. Probably missed a bunch of people. Some people coming in like Maria Ekman. Thank you very much, Maria. Welcome. All countries are welcome here, guys. I'm so happy to connect with new countries. I always get so excited. Maria, thank you so much. Thanks, you guys. Beautiful. Nigel, Bruce, do you think all these UAPs that have been sighted recently are controlled by aliens or humans from the future? I think that that's a theory that I wouldn't rule out. That for me, Nigel Brown is an awesome theory. Teleportation, traveling into past and future. This could be very well what we are seeing, brother. And I'll tell you what, the fact that we see lights going by in the sky at a certain speed, it could be that in a time machine, okay, traveling through time, that is what they see. So in other words, you travel through time, boom, you land in the future, you come back into your time. But what would that physically, visually look like? Could it be all those lights that we are seeing? Could all the lights that we are seeing be actual secret projects of people teleporting themselves, traveling through time? As a matter of fact, maybe yesterday I was you and you were me. Maybe this is the only live stream you have ever seen here, because every morning we wake up and we think that this is a new day, new time, and that we're streaming for the first time, seeing each other. We'd never know if that wasn't so. Anyways, getting past myself, but that I think it's important for us all to be open-minded. I wish I was two brains, guys, to be able to answer everyone coming here. Thank you so much, Carl. You're talking about the avenues to contact you. Just got here and looks like you're taking about avenues to contact you, Bruce. Yes, I have lots of amazing videos taken of UFOs, chemtrails, sun simulator, etc. And wood. Lots going on at one point. Like I said, at the streams, live streams, more and more, not tonight, more and more people will be coming on, especially my community. Those of you that will be subscribed will be able to do this every night. Come on. As a matter of fact, the members, you can complain, can scream out that you want us to do live streams, even though we're 10 or 5 people. We're obviously not ever going to make it past the 100 mark on the members, but it doesn't matter. I'm still getting incredible support. Really happy to hear little bits of information coming in, like maybe somebody shared me on their podcast. So I'm really grateful for that. The Psychotic Ape, music is from the heart and you play as good as your soul is. Wow, you guys, thank you so much, Psychotic Ape. Wow, guys. See what pisses me off, not being able to see all these comments and amazing comments. Kimberly LaBelle, Aleaus, Darla, thanks again, Darla. Adam's in the house, he's back. I am Kai, much love to you too. There's Adam Truthfinders. That's before I get out here. Lisa B, thanks again. Thank you for being here. As Highness says, Big Brother's jumping up and down. Mad. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And maybe that's why we're going to see some repercussions of that. Kamada, I'm finally a patron of my favorite space guy. Oh my God, I almost dropped the coffee. That would have been a good sign, though. Kamada, I love you for it. Thank you so much, you guys. I go and look in the feed after when the videos are done, and I see all that I miss. I know I miss a lot, guys. I'm trying as much as I can. It's proof that I am human. Thank you so much, Kamada. That means so much. I hope you're still here. Kick your algorithm and increase the chat. Bruce. Damn right. I can't kick anything here. I mean, everything's kicking me. Thanks, OJ, Jeff Gray. Thanks for listening in, you guys. I'm just about to get off. OBX Arms, thanks for everything. Cloudflare errors are common info. So I'm not even worried anymore. So it has nothing to do with me having gained access to his computer or someone hacking me. So I love you guys for that feedback. So I won't even mention it anymore. And I'm just going to continue to try to get on to band video, which I'm able to once in a blue moon, I guess. Thanks, OBX Arms. Lisa Eckerly, everyone, you guys. Thank you so much for the generous contributions. Irish aliens in the house. Any update on that sun live stream and the infrared live stream? Love you, brother. No information update yet. I wish I would be able to live stream, especially live for you all. And maybe in the near future. I'll be honest with you, Irish alien. Thanks for asking. And it is something that sounds very, very interesting. That's for sure. But don't worry, I keep it interesting. I actually find it so boring. People that are outside filming the moon and from far and saying, keep your eyes peeled, you know. Unfortunately, there's a lot of jumping around. I'm on the wooden deck in the back jumping around. I can't actually stay on the deck with my telescope. Don't forget, I bring my telescope out every single time that I have to film the moon, as I'm going to do this evening. Fingers crossed that the moon will be out tonight and a bit higher in the south, a lot more higher, hopefully. And that's it for now, guys. I'm going to get off and going to thank you all. Todd Smith, Lam Yuan, Frankfurt, Frankfurt, or Frankfurt, or Frankfurt. Lam Yuan Frankfurt. I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that right, and I hope I am. Oh, Todd, interesting, is it not? What about the Devil's Champion outfit for Halloween War? I don't know what's going on with some people, but I tell you, to all new subscribers just arriving to the channel, I work every single day on all the platforms and all these the channels that I have, and I don't have 10,000 of them, so a lot of the work is presented here. This is the official channel. Thanks to all who came on to Patreon, who contributed on the video, leaving $2 for a thank you for appreciating a video with the thanks button, or just contributing by coming here. It's a free channel, guys, and your time here is like money for you coming in to get the algorithm up on the channel, get more people interested. I have a lot of really controversial sightings that people should be seeing elsewhere, that's for sure. Tommy Langley made it. Sorry, you guys, that I just missed you. I will be on tonight at 8 o'clock now, so it's 3:18, and at 8 o'clock tonight, we talk about more space news and a whole bunch of conversations. Bye-bye for now. Thanks, and I love you very much, everyone. Jeez, there's a lot of people here today. Thanks for the heads up, guys. Hey, Juan Francisco Almendra. Muchas gracias. Saludos desde Tomont, Chile, amigo, y gracias. Gracias por venir a mi canal de investigación, Juan. Dos canal, mi canal de investigación, Astronomia OVNIs. It's a second channel. So, saludos desde Montreal, Canada. Muchas gracias. Adios. Hasta mañana? No. Later. I won't be here tomorrow. I will be here later. I will be here tomorrow, but I'll be here later for the next stream. Thanks, you guys. John Black is in the house. You have to watch Anonymous Official. You will see why it is happening. Lisa Eckerly is so awake. I love my awake friends here. It's another channel I'm banned from, Lisa. I'm banned from going to the channel. Except, good news. Thanks to Lisa, Alex Jones is not banning people. I knew he wasn't. And it's just glitch of the system. Oh, yeah, very interesting. DNA storage, the Swan. By the way, they're buying and selling rain. What do you think of that one? Buying and selling rain. I heard something before. Hey, Divine Sorcerer, thanks a lot, man. Guy, and thanks for the generous contribution, guys. Before I get off, I'm going to leave it at that. check out the Divine Sorcerer. You want to see someone doing real tests to interact with phenomena, cleansing, and I think he's just a real spiritual guy. I love him like he's my brother. And Divine Sorcerer, an amazing contributor to the channel, like you all are here. I know I can't thank you all enough, but I always try. Bye for now. Yes, Bruce is finally getting off. The new people will learn that Bruce says goodbye for a long time. I love you guys. Bye for now.